The last few years have seen the world experience a turbulent time in almost every walk of life. The property market has historically been a bedrock for investors, a safe place to put your money, until the current recession hit. So hard that even this safe haven took a beating. The most recent rumours in the media are sporadic and varied, with a statement from someone in the city, an analyst or government body giving blind hope. In the main, investors, people wishing to relocate, and those wanting to come home are left to their own devices to read and rely on a wide variety of papers, magazines and websites, with a single paragraph and a photo next to it to keep themselves partially informed. Is it now a good time to invest, buy or sell? Where can I get a good spread of information from people in the know, on the ground and in the location? After much digging, we found little available to answer our questions, so we set out to visit one of Spain's oldest expat locations, with a view to talking to estate agents and getting their view on the market, where it stands and what they feel will be its course for 2015. We start in the picturesque town of Benalmádena Pueblo, a small village on the hillside above the port and main town of Benalmádena. Here we meet Trevor of De Costa Properties.
Benalmádena Pueblo is a very beautiful and 500-year-old Spanish village, true traditional white village as they're described by. We're also located, and not to be confused with Benalmádena Costa. Benalmádena Costa is really the tourist area, which is 2 kilometers down on the coastal road and on the beach. The 90s were certainly better than the 2000s, but the beginning of 2000 was quite buoyant. The crisis, which was not just here, it was everywhere. And prices by that time had hit the roof. They'd been forced up by demand to unreasonable, unsustainable levels. And it couldn't continue. Funded, of course, by the banks. The people who have a property here in my village, or anywhere on the Costa del Sol for that matter, they had the availability of funds to buy it. So they're not poor people. And despite the publicity in many countries, especially Northern Europe, people here are not giving their houses away. They can't afford to do that. However, what has changed the perspective is they are prepared to consider offers for their property. The hallmark of the property has been the people coming out with publicity in their minds saying that prices are at rock bottom level, and therefore they can find a bargain. Nothing wrong with finding a bargain, but sellers only have so far to go. The difficulty now is that the banks will try to arrange a mortgage for a foreigner now, or a non-Spaniard I should say, then they would try to get that mortgage organised between 50 and no more than 70%. On the other hand, however, the banks will very happily give you 100% if you buy a property from them. So they're now in the business. I get inquiries now, and people thinking that they're going to get a huge bargain by buying a bank repossession. They're really, really mistaken, I can assure you. Property that the banks are selling are usually high-rise buildings or apartments or townhouses. In other words, developments and projects that were not good enough to sell or failed in their original marketing principle. And that if you put them on the market, they would not fetch the prices that the bank are asking. There's a very great misconception that the bank on a repossession will accept the outstanding mortgage. Nope. I have got property in this village, in the same place where bank repossession is controlled by the bank, and I've got owners who will sell it less than the bank are asking. It used to be that our main business came from the United Kingdom. They're starting to come back, but I would say that over the last 12 months at least, Norwegians, Finnish, Danish, Swedish, Northern Europe coming to Spain. Last year I said, oh, next year will be better. And then this year I'm saying next year will be better. The indications are that it is not likely to be better because there are so many properties on the market. But the number of inquiries, the amount of interest being expressed is greater than I've known it. I expect that to continue throughout 2015.
That's the position of a slightly inland agent. So how is it along the coast?
It's about 20 years that I am working in the business of real estate, in selling and renting and looking after our customers. I went through the golden years here in Spain, so there was a lot of money. I set off with 3 people, and in total we will be around 10 now. We came to this one because we needed to expand. We had quite some staff and the business was going. And now we decided to open another office in Calahonda. So the problem 15 years ago was that there was a booming here in Spain. Everyone wanted to buy a property in Spain. Everybody needed to have a property in Spain because the neighbors had one. So there was so much building going on, and the promoters were not even waiting for a license, had no bank guarantees. And a lot of people, they've lost their properties, they've lost their money, everything. If you would walk around here in the area, you would quite find a lot of apartments still not finished, and they will never be finished because there is no license. So all these properties came on the market and the prices went down and down and down because people at the end of the day, they had to sell for whatever price. After what Spain went through, they have been legalizing everything. So if you buy a property now off of plan, then you know that there is a bank guarantee and that all the paperwork is there, because they will not start the building without all these papers. So there's more trust again in Spain, which they had lost 10 years ago. There is an upgoing in the market, although most of the time the people have a certain budget, and I think the problem is a little bit that everywhere over the country there's a lot of publicity made. Spain, everything is cheap, and people come over here with the idea that they can buy a villa for 100,000 euros, first line beach, 3 bedrooms, mother, whatever you have. Once they're over here, they do realize, yes, you have properties of 100,000 euros, but it's not what they want then. So people with money or who can afford, they can find the right place at the right price here in Spain. Off-plan is kicking off again because there's quite some new urbanizations, and they're sold out even before they even started to build. So yes, people are in that again. But then the good old resales of good properties are still very, very wanted by the buyers. I think the banks are very difficult right now because at that moment they were giving the money away, and now it's very hard for honest people to get a mortgage. On the other side, they have a lot of properties which they want to get rid of, but they're playing the game very hard. So me as an agent, I'm not really interested to work together with the banks. You have, in my eyes, 2 kinds of buyers. The buyers with a budget which is 100 to 150,000 euros. And then there is a gap. Then the people with money, they come and they can spend 4, 5, 6, 700,000 euros. So there is a gap in between. The people who buy for 100, 150,000 euros, and most of the time are people who have no trust in the bank's home anymore. So they prefer to put their money in a brick, then leave it in the bank and maybe lose it all. So, and people with money, they will always be there and they will always buy, and they don't care how much it is because they have the monies. Properties with good value, good buildings, they keep the value and we still can sell them. The biggest problem that we will have is, everybody is asking me a little bit the same question, do you think we are at the bottom now? To be honest, I'll say no. Because the next problem we will have is all the properties that the bank have. They have to get rid of it, they need the cash flow again. So at the end of the day, they will drop the prices enormously. So I think we still have to go a little bit further down, and that will spoil a little bit the market here in Spain. But once they're through that, I do think that Spain will be again a number 1 on the holiday market because we have the sun.
A little farther along the coast is the headquarters of Viva, Homes Under the Sun. With such a diverse product portfolio and market, what do they make of it right now?
My name's John Hollway. I've been in Spain on the Costa del Sol for 20 years now. I work for a company called Viva, where we are. It's called Viva Homes Under the Sun, and it is the largest multi-branch real estate company on the coast. We have 12 offices, soon to open 2 more, one in Estepona and another in Nerja. So we cover the whole, pretty much the whole coast now, about 130 kilometers. We've had incredible highs and some pretty sad lows. But actually since November 2011, the market for us has picked up, and it's been consistent since then. We had a very good start to 2014, and 2015 is now looking like an exciting year. If people ask, when is the time to buy? Now is the time to buy, really. 2014 saw a lot of people coming into the market who had been looking for a long time. We've always felt that the public haven't not wanted to buy in Spain, but lots of pressures have stopped them buying in Spain. But there's still the same amount of people's dreams of having a second home is still there. So we're just waiting for that dam to break and for everybody to come. Just to give you an idea, what we did in 2014, we went to 2 exhibitions in the UK. It was the first time we'd been to an exhibition for 6 years in the UK. They were A Place in the Sun exhibitions. One was in London and the other was in Birmingham. We had product we sold actually at the exhibition, which was very exciting for us. And we had no idea whether that was going to work, and it did. That was a very good hint of what the market was doing. It's given us enough confidence that we're looking at doing our own exhibitions in the future. In the old days, Viva, 98% were probably UK and Irish. Now it's 30%. The rest divided Scandinavians, French, all nationalities really. Because people know what they want now, the people coming into the market know exactly what they're looking for. If it's a bargain, they're snapping it up. Inland at the moment, it seems to be doing very well. Why? Because you're getting a lot of property for your money. A lot of the problems with buying inland has now been resolved. Are the banks helping the industry? Some are and some aren't. Generally now, the banks realise they have to divest themselves, and a couple of the banks have been very proactive and have shifted a lot of properties. There are some that are still hanging on for dear life. There is very little new build. There are some people that come into the market now. A great example, one of our partners is Taylor Wimpey. They took the risk and they built off plan. They sold off plan very successfully. All their developments are doing very well. But they studied the market and they looked at what people wanted and they built accordingly and they've sold. We would love to have some off plan. It's gradually coming into the market. The interesting thing is 2014 saw a lot of land transactions, up significantly from 2013, which can only mean that those people are starting to think about construction. And construction is starting, but we are looking all the time for new build properties because the market is there. People like something new. Prognosis for 2015. I think we're already excited. I mean, Viva's excited, been excited for the last 2.5 years, really. It's what we do, we're excited about it. 2015, it's very difficult to predict. 2014 was certainly a much better year than 2013, and we're looking at 2015 to be a better year than 2014. Prices will stabilise, there's no doubt about that. We're already seeing that, especially in the markets such as Marbella. The bargains are not all shot. We saw in 2014 very specific people were coming and getting great bargains. Are there going to be as many? No, there aren't. That's definitely, they're sort of getting more few and far between. But we still doesn't mean to say we don't have fantastic properties, because we do have great products, and there are new products or new old products that are coming onto the market at bargain prices. And prices may go up. You know, the likes of the developers we were talking about, Taylor Wimpey, have actually increased their prices in second phases. So that's a good sign. So I think 2015, whether it's going to be the kickoff year, I wouldn't predict that, but I think it's going to be a better year than 2014.
And from a property consultant's point of view, how is business otherwise?
Market went up very rapidly from 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, started slowing down a bit. And 2008, the whole world collapsed and Spain was part of that. So it cooled off for a bit. The demand was still the same. We could see the hits on our internet that people were still looking and very interested. But as prices were coming down every year and people are intelligent, they waited to see when the market actually bottomed out and the prices started going up again, which happened about a year and a half ago. And so that's early 2013, I would say, we started getting really busy again. At the moment, there aren't a lot of new developments on the Costa del Sol. In the earlier boom, if you like, from 2000 to 2006, there was probably more than 100 developments going up, all the way from Malaga to Estepona, which gave clients a big variety of choice. That's not the case anymore. And the majority of clients these days wants to have new properties if they can find them within their budget. It's not there today, so new developments are sold out very, very quickly, which means that people are now having to buy into the old stock, if you like. But even that is running out quickly, with about 1,000 property sales a month and nothing being built, nothing being put onto the market. The stock is running out quickly, which affects the prices. Obviously, prices will go up again, and more people will come out because they don't want to lose out because the prices are going up. So it's all something that it enforces the market to be more vibrant.
Looking at the market as a whole, there are fairly recognizable areas and property style differences. So there are obviously agents dedicating their purpose in life to these sectors. Has the recession bottomed out for them now? Marbella is known for its jet-set lifestyle, so we won't labour on that here. That's not what this programme is about. However, the jet-set do need looking after, and in a special and particular way. So comments from agents looking after them is what we need.
I'm the managing director of Engel & Volker's offices in Marbella. Engel & Volker's is one of the leading companies worldwide specializing in high-end real estate with 600 offices in prime locations in 5 continents. And in Marbella we are running 5 offices very successfully, and I believe that we are the market leader there. Since 2013, we reached the bottom market. The market is going upper and upper and getting better and better. In the prime location, the market cleaned itself from properties that have been there during all the recession. This was the bottom of the low, and those properties have been sold in 2013 in prime locations. In prime location, the demand today is higher than the supply. Properties that are coming on the market today are coming to higher prices that you would have found at 2013. I'm talking about the prime locations, and if you are my customer, this is where I would advise you always to buy. As far as you go out of Marbella, there is more and more on the market, more availability. There are areas where properties are still on the market, and you can get them for a very, very good price. Not to forget, it's not a prime location. When you have to sell them, you will wait time to sell them. That's why they are still on the market today. Who is buying at the moment? I would say most of the nationality. We see again the English buying, and they are statistically leading the market, the buyer market. After that, you used to see until last year the Russians, especially in the upper market. Those disappeared last year due to the situation in Russia. And we see a lot of French customers buying, something that we didn't see before. And then you see really all nationalities, not forgetting that we are selling a lifestyle and not just properties. We are selling just in prime locations, so I can talk about prime location. If a property is on the market today, so the price is unrealistic, or they are always running after the correct price. Every property that we are taking on our portfolio, we are doing a professional valuation, which is looking like a bank valuation, where we take all the criteria into account, exactly like you will do in London or in Berlin or somewhere else in the world. And we are advising the seller to which price is the market value of his property. Some sellers would like to get more and say, well, we will try. If we think that we have buyers for that, we will tell the seller that we will try it for a couple of months, and then we'll sit together and talk about the price. However, there are a lot of properties that we are turning out and don't take them into our portfolio where the price is unrealistic. It doesn't do good neither for us nor to the seller itself. The problem here is that you see a lot of new agencies around, and they want to grow their portfolio. They are taking properties in every price. That's why really when you are looking for buying a house, go to a renowned agency to get really a good estimation and a good market overview. They are working for you free of charge, because we are getting paid by the seller. So you will get really a good advice where to buy, where to invest your money, taking under account that it's a big investment. Buying a house is one of the biggest investments that you will do in your lifetime. So get to a professional. Like if you go to a doctor, you make sure it's a good doctor, do the same.
When I came down here from London in the late night, well, I came here in the beginning of the 90s, but started working here in the late 90s, having been in London from early 80s. We were there used to a very bespoke market. We were used to a residential sales market, and we were used to a great melting pot of different people that were buyers. And when I came down here, there wasn't really a strong residential market. It was all buying off plan, and it was investors, etc., etc. It was inspection flights coming in from the UK and a certain extent Ireland. So it was a very focused market. You had the German market as well, but predominantly UK and English market. Then when it started slowing down and the off-plan market, we started having problems. We started having problems with the planning of such projects. We had now come into the euro. The change from the pesetas into the euro very much boosted the economy, and it went haywire. People were buying a contract and flipping a contract, and everything was more money orientated than rather being a residential market. Then it started happening, and I will say down here now we've probably had a recession from way back to 2003, 2004. It started moving and the bubbles start bursting then. I think you will see that more and more real estate will be conducted from the early stages via the web, via the internet. And then when people actually come down here, because there is so much to offer for each individual agent, the basis of what it used to be of person to person actually happens when you come down. The people don't spread themselves when they're down, but they come with a whole list of criteria and places they want to be. Valuations are staying the same. We are not valuing properties, putting them back on the market at a higher price than last year. But what we are seeing
is that we in this office had two situations of a word I haven't heard since the late 80s in London, which is gazumping, whereby one agrees to buy something and somebody comes in and pays a higher price prior to exchanging contracts. We had that in 2014. Scandinavian banks are just so pushing for lending. So you are looking now that Scandinavian banks are offering fantastic facilities for Scandinavians buying here. So you can have an interest-only loan over 10 years for something as low as 1.8 to 1.5% interest only per annum. So, and a lot of Scandinavians like the idea of having some kind of investment in euros. So they are a very strong force down here as well. So, but I think with the banks, the Spanish banks started being slowly behind us, very carefully behind us. I think with the foreign banks being far more optimistic, we're looking at a market that is growing a lot of, showing a lot of potential to being a very strong force in 2015 and ahead. And again, Marbella is back in the sense that you are having good investors coming in, investing serious amount of money on improving the residential resale market. And let's hope we see the Chinese. I had one Chinese buyer last year, an investment buyer. Would like to see the Chinese come in here. They are sniffing around. There's some Chinese investors around for a couple of big hotels. We need more hotels and upmarket hotels. So with them coming in, that would be a very positive thing indeed. The lovely thing about it now is that you're really, really seeing that Marbella is back, and that it's something that during the last year for 2014, that you saw that there was an increase in activity and an increase in interest again. And you're seeing that the quality of people that are here, the quality of restaurants and everything else that are opening up, that it's back and coming back to what it used to be. And I think that's the best thing of all of it. And I don't know if, you'll see the streets are being tidied up again, and there are more money coming into Marbella now. And where we had for years and years and years that all cranes stopped and you didn't have cranes in either of the residential areas, now you see most streets will have some kind of refurbishment coming in. But there's only one thing I can say, that Marbella is most definitely back, and you see it on the people coming down. And the young people are back, and the golfers are back in full stream. But especially the younger generation are loving it down here, and a lot of money are being poured into making their life good as well. So all in all, very positive.
There are markets where clients look for a particular location and seek out specialists in those areas, so we took a short hop to Estepona and talked with one of the most prominent agents there, Future Homes.
So my name is Victoria Lewis. I'm the director of Future Homes, which is an independent estate agency in Estepona and the western side of Costa del Sol, about 15 minutes by car from Puerto Banús and Marbella. We've been established here for over 15 years, and so we believe that we know the market quite well. Small family-run business with a personal service. Who's buying in Estepona at the moment? This has changed a lot from the boom time. Everybody and anybody was buying, or anyone that could get a mortgage, which was just about everybody. Since that, in the last, let's say, 2 years, from our point of view, 1 year, the market started coming back quite strongly, and we started to note that the Brits, who were the big buyers before, weren't buying so much, partly due to exchange rates and the confidence that they had and the horror stories that they read every day in the papers. So most of our clients now really are the Swedish and Northern Europeans, Swedes, Belgians, Norwegians. I do think it's different. Estepona market from Marbella, Sotogrande, Fuengirola, Malaga. People tend to like Estepona because it's very Spanish. We've got a fantastic old village that's actually used as an old village, where people actually use them as residences. Cobbled streets, lovely flower pots, etc. And we've got a fantastic infrastructure. Another reason is the confidence that people have now in Estepona, and that's linked, we think, directly or indirectly to our mayor, who we have, who is a public notary, a very clever man, who came in. He made many changes. We now have a fantastic regular bus service, cycle lane, the theatre, a brand new theatre opening in a month's time, a new commercial centre with some cinemas, etc. But at the same time maintaining Estepona as a Spanish coastal, I say village, but town. It's an all year round town as well, so people are coming down here to live here. We've also got the investment side of it, but it's not as big as it was before. So people now don't intend to come down or don't expect to come here, buy something and move it on within 2 months, thank goodness, because that's what created the false market that we had for a long time. So now people are coming down, they're paying good prices. Yes, I believe we hit rock bottom a few months ago, again in Estepona, which I feel is the only place really that I feel confident enough to answer that question, even though we do work in Marbella and Sotogrande as lead agents, but we know Estepona very, very well. We also are an estate agent where we're very selective, so we don't accept any property on the market. We make sure that we think it's worth the price that they're asking, that it's completely legal, and that's very important for us because I'm a lawyer myself, and so a lot of the time I represent our clients if they want us to, or we do some of the work and then we'll pass it on to their own lawyer and suggest that they maybe negotiate a special price because everything is given to them on a plate. But you know, we're very careful and selective in what we sell, and that it's something that we feel someone's going to like. So yeah, Estepona is a great place to live. I absolutely love it, and I think I've never met anyone that doesn't. It's an all year round town as well. It doesn't come alive just in the summer. In fact, it's even better in the winter. And I would say to anyone, come down and see what they think. I'm sure that they'll love it like I did a long time ago. So yeah, from that point of view, the rock bottom hit a while ago, last year, and now we're on the up. And we actually have problems now in getting properties. We're actually, for the first time in 15 years, I'm actually starting to think about advertising to bring in the properties.
This programme wouldn't be complete without looking at the rest of the coastline and taking a look at Sotogrande, which we felt was such a special location we'd garner comment from 2 agents. Here's what Charles Gubbins from Noll Partners had to say.
Well, I've been involved in the real estate market in Sotogrande since 2007. I got involved exactly at the time when things were beginning to peak. Thereafter we entered the crisis, which was not only a crisis here in Spain, but obviously across the world. And that led to many issues here in Spain, which led to the drop in prices, the drop in demand, and the drop in things. Sotogrande itself is very much a second home market. And of course, if you live in London or in Paris or in Belgium somewhere, your second home is the first one that will be affected when you have the pinch, when you feel the pinch. So basically the market peaked in 2007 and thereafter started coming down because of the crisis. And we've seen prices tumble and the demand come down quite dramatically. Prices have really come down about 30–35%. Sotogrande is a little bit different in that is an urbanization, which is a luxury urbanization. Many of the very wealthy Spaniards from Madrid and Seville have second homes here. So Sotogrande has attracted a lot of families who are sport orientated, but it also has Gibraltar, which is very close here, only 20 minutes. And Gibraltar, of course, is a place where you have the offshore gaming companies are now based there. A lot of the insurance companies have their bases there. And those people do have secondary homes here in Sotogrande, and some of them even commute back and forth, those who have become residents here in Spain. So Sotogrande is slightly different. So we do have that demand. But having said that, like the rest of Spain, prices have come down here. Not as dramatically perhaps, because as I say, these are privately owned and older properties. Things over the last 2 years, I think we've been along the bottom. And in 2015, we've seen a significant increase in demand. The 2nd of January here, the phones were hot. People asking about new properties and perhaps taking the pinch. This also happened, this phenomenon, in 2014 as well. And 2014 was certainly my best year here on the coast. Having started in 2007, of course, so I'm starting from a very low base. Thereafter, things have developed quite well, and things are continuing to grow. I think 2015 will see a continuation in the growth of demand, and those will be converted into sales. Investors really in Sotogrande itself will not find a yield. The prices are still too high, and the rental price is too low to deliver a yield. It's not an investment market. It is a place where people live. We have people here living all year round. But the resale market, I think, will continue to do well until the construction, over a period of time, might take off again. As far as the near future, the rest of 2015, I do believe now is the time to come. The pound is very strong against the euro, and we find that is also to the benefit of the British buyer. The market has reached the bottom, and that is evidenced by sellers not wanting to discount anymore. We do see sales. I am changing my prices on my website so that they reflect a real price rather than I wish to get that price and happy to discount 20% off my asking price, which is a little bit silly sometimes because you really don't know where you are. So if you have a discount of 5%, maybe that sort of more or less makes sense, and that is being reflected in the market. If you price to sell, you're getting a sale. That's what's happening. Last November, Cerebus Capital Fund from America bought Sotogrande SA. Sotogrande SA is the company that retains ownership of the unsold plots that were originally set out by McMicken and the master plan here in the urbanization Sotogrande. Clearly they've seen an upside to that purchase, which they paid, I think, 220 million euros for. And these companies come in, jiggle about with something, we don't know exactly what they're going to do, and then resell at a profit. They are serious companies. This particular one, I think, bought Chrysler and sold it to Mercedes. So we're talking about very serious investors here. They are also buying other things in Spain, which is quite interesting as well. A focused, serious fund spending some money in Sotogrande is good news for all of us here. It's good news for residents because the prices probably be propped up along with everyone else. So we're looking forward to seeing what happens there.
Finally, we sought the assistance of Michael Lane Associates, who showed us around and told us what they feel about the Costa del Sol market.
Now I really specialise in Sotogrande, and I actually live here as well, so I have a vested interest in this area doing well. Certainly, as far as I can see, the market's bottomed out. The last part of 2014, we saw a lot of increase in inquiries, and we started to make a lot of sales towards the end of the year. I can see that continuing on, particularly in Sotogrande, which is quite a unique location. It's one of the largest privately owned residential estates in southern Spain, 20 square kilometres in fact. This area has always been strictly controlled in terms of planning volumes and where you can and can't build, unlike a lot of the areas in Spain. So to a certain extent it was never overdeveloped, so we never had a surplus of unsold properties. I mean, there are unsold properties and property prices were fairly stagnant, but we never suffered anything like other parts of the Costa del Sol. Also, a lot of the owners here are very wealthy owners. Some of the wealthiest people in Spain and Northern Europe are second home owners or primary home owners here. There's lots of facilities for children in the summer here, sailing schools, tennis academies, golf academies, and now we have the Sotogrande International School for the local expat residents who wish to send their children to school locally. We have quite a variety of different properties here. Many apartments in the marina, which are ideally suited to people in the sailing vicinity. There's also some very nice luxury apartments on the golf courses in the area, as well as the family villas and also the large mansions that are in the Costa part of the Sotogrande, the original part, which are now 40 years old, with very large gardens and plots. We tended to find that the clients that are buying our properties in this area often didn't need mortgages, they were second or third homes, and never really got affected too badly by the recession as a lot of people did further down the coastline. You've got extremely good value properties in this area, very large plot sizes and constructed areas. A lot of our clients that bought in previous years either borrowed money from the UK on their own properties or simply bought with funds which are unencumbered. The buying and selling costs in the last few years having increased, the Spanish government decided to increase the transfer tax for resales and on new property increase the VAT to 10%. So in a way that hasn't helped our business because it's just made the buying costs, purchasing costs of properties higher than it was before. And in reality, it might have been better to have reduced those costs to encourage buyers to invest in Spain. We saw an increase in inquiries from about September 2014. A lot of those resulted in sales before the end of the year, and I now have appointments right through to March for clients coming over from UK, Belgium and France. In fact, we've seen a lot of new customers from France for whatever reason in the last few months. And I can foresee the market continuing on that trend, a slightly upward trend. I don't think it's going to boom again, but certainly we are seeing a lot of people now realising that the market's bottomed out and do not want to miss the opportunity to buy their second home or their retirement home in this area. We're actually short of new properties. There's not been any new development in this area for many years, and we could really do with some new projects coming online that we can actually start to promote. So I think initially it's going to be resales and perhaps taking up some of the lower end properties or the lower price properties where people are in a situation where they want to sell or need to sell. I think those will be sold fairly quickly. And we found already this year we've got a lot of inquiries on properties that have been put on the market at the right price. In other words, price to sell.
This program is not designed to give financial advice or investment advice or replace the authoritative professional guidance on your dealings with property. It is designed to give you an opportunity to look at and listen to good caliber agents across the Costa to assist you to form your own opinions and make your own decisions about the timing and location of your property dealings. We sincerely hope this helps you in your quest.